Welcome back to the channel. It has been forever since we done one of these videos, but as you can clearly see in the background, we got that NBA 2K22 playing, been on it, been grinding. We're gonna have a discussion video, probably short and sweet, just about the state of the game, who's to blame, if it's anybody to blame for it, what I feel about the game, things of that nature. And I decided, why not make a video? I want to talk about it. Please, before we get into that, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitch, follow the Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. But let's hop into it. Let's hop into the discussion. What I feel about 2K22. I'm going to start off by saying when the game first came out, it actually was a great game. It had its faults, but it was a great game. Was loving it, was enjoying it. One of the biggest problems was the stealing. Like, it didn't matter what, I forget what's the badge called. Unpluckable. It didn't matter what level your unpluckable was. It didn't matter how good your ball handle was. You was gonna get that ball picked. And the problem was, people were, you know how the community is. People were mashing square just to get the ball to pop loose, just to get the steal animation. And like I said, it didn't matter how high your ball handle and things of that nature was. It was going to happen. But outside of that, the game still had some slight flaws, but it wasn't a bad game. Like, we were enjoying it, we were having fun, and coming from 2K21, it seemed like a great improvement. A lot of people felt the interior defense was a lot better, so you weren't getting those ridiculous dunk animations and the constant posters that we were constantly getting last year. You know, our heads was in the clouds and we thought it was a good 2K. Then the first patch dropped. And with that patch dropping, they kind of they nerfed the steal success rate. I believe it was in the patch or the silent patch, because sometimes they do that too. But they nerfed the steal rating. And it made it a lot harder to steal the ball. I personally felt that was at a good spot. They also buffed Unpluckable. It still didn't work too well on lower levels like bronze and silver, but gold was the sweet spot. So like once you had that, the game was on its up and ups. I felt like we were at a good spot, and then it wasn't as big as it is now, but like you did start seeing like those real small guards come out, because this is where the small guards started to come out, because they get Hall of Fame Unpluckable. I think you have to be like around 5'9" to 6'1" to get Hall of Fame Unpluckable. This year there's some badges like the Hall of Fame levels that are locked behind height requirements, weight requirements, things of that nature. So a lot of people were making a small guard so they can get Hall of Fame Unpluckable, so they wouldn't get constantly stripped at the top of the key. Like I said, we still was on the high that the game was good, defense was good, and things of that nature. I started to see bigger problems, and I'm gonna start by seeing, for instance, 2K21 had a giant problem where everybody was just rim running, and this year we thought that they increased the interior defense because that's the way it looked to us. What I noticed, and what I still feel, I don't care what anybody says, that they didn't really fix the interior defense. I felt like what they did, they added more block animations and added the moments those animations activate, to the point where like a lot of times you have people out of place just pressing triangle, and just because they're the center something for one and they have like a 90 something block rating, they're gifted like almost suction blocks to the ball. Even you see it like on guards on fast breaks. It's a lot of suction blocks. There's a lot of the block animation take over and throws you into another animation. There's been times where I've gone up fully with a dunk wide open, somebody comes in, closes out, and then boom, there you go. He now is changing and altering my shot. I feel like that's what they implemented in substitute for actual interior defense. Somebody actually closing out, somebody actually being in the right position and not just mashing square and triangle and things of that nature. But then, like I said, with that pass, we were still in a good place. But then they, for some reason, they decided to nerf again the steals. I don't think it needed a second and a third nerf. The still success rate, you could look at 2K Labs. It started at like a 14% or something like that, and then it went down to at least I think it's like a 1% success rate now, which is ridiculous to me. But they nerfed it again, and a lot of those people that had the 5'9" build, 6 foot build, because they wanted that Hall of Fame unpluckable, they started taking the game over. And now we have the problem in the game where we have these 5'9" builds. Everybody has one, 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", around those heights, and people are doing the left right. And if you play the game, you already know the issue, you already seen the problem, you see them multiple times. They just stand around at the top of the key, have a center screen for them. They don't really even need it if they're playing one-on-one defense, and they just run back and forth, stop, quick stop, keep going to another direction, or quick stop, go to the same direction, and they just do that all game. And it's pretty much GG's, nothing you can do about it unless you have a squad with you that's going to step up, help out. You usually have to play sides in the 2-3 zone to stop the man from cheesing all day with the left right screens. And that's where the point that we are now. So when I ask the question, what do I feel about the game? I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna speak from my personal feelings, what I feel. I'm not listening to 2K YouTubers and all these other quote unquote comp players. I feel like the game is in a shit spot. And it went from being a very solid game, a great 2K that we have had in recent years, and it still has the potential to be, but it went from a very solid game to a shit game, a very, very shit game. And I'm also going to give some, I'm not just going to say it's shit without giving some type of fixes or anything that I would believe would solve the problem. And let's not just patch this out of the way. But I'm gonna get there. I feel like it's in a very, very shit spot. Part of the problem, which is always part of the problem, is 2K itself. 2K for years, I would say after that 2K16 era, which a lot of people consider being the best 2Ks, defense became non-existent, and they started getting rid of badges that helped you play defense at an exceptional level. For instance, like Bruiser and things like that, because the community were complaining about it. They started getting rid of those badges, and 2K has had shit to very poor balancing issues. It always has prioritized offense. Anybody that plays rec or pro-am can see, because if you score 30 points, it doesn't matter if your center has 20 and 10. If you score 30 and 4, you'll be the player of the game, things of that nature. 2K has always prioritized offense, and defense has lacked, and like I said, especially after 2K16. And this year especially, we have about, it is definitely exaggerated, but it seems like 100 badges as far as offense and helping the offensive player, and you only have maybe 1 or 2 badges that actually work that help the defense. For instance, offense has, just for the playmaking alone, handle for days, which which lets a lot of people just stand at the top of the key and dribble for 20 seconds for every play of the game. You have quick chain, hyperdrive, quick first step, stop and go. It's tight handles. You have all these offensive badges, and that's just for dribbling. Then shooting, it's green machine like it's always been. Hot zone, hunter, sniper. You have I forget the one where that lets you fade, and blinders. Blinders. You have dead eye, volume shooter, stop and pop. You have all these and I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting some more because I can keep naming them. You have all these badges that are geared towards offense and defense as a perimeter player, because of course interior gets different ones, but as a perimeter player you get clamps, which doesn't work as it should all the time. Menace, which they nerfed for some reason. Off-ball pass, which really doesn't help with your defender. It kind of is supposed to help against other other people, or you bumping other people and being off the ball or pass, quote unquote. You have intimidator, which is hard to get if you don't have any high blocking, and a lot of perimeter players try to skip out on blocking because we don't really need it. And that's really about it. Offense has so heavily geared and prepared this season, this game, that it's almost nothing you can do about it. Also, that we still have the foot planting system, which only affects the defense. The person with the ball moves faster and can move faster in speed boost and move laterally quicker than any defense can. So with the 5'9" build having all these attributes on top of having a center screening for them, multiple center screening for them, it's really nothing you can do about it. And it's almost annoying to guard, especially on a rec format. It's very, very annoying to guard, annoying to stop, because it's almost unstoppable unless you have a competent team working with you. It's pretty much almost unstoppable, and people are going to get buckets, and it's to the point where everybody's doing it. Every comp player is doing it. It's the meta. People are validating it because it's the easy way to score. It's trash, and it's making the game trash. Is everybody's playing the same kind of way, and anytime you get somebody that doesn't play like that, it's pretty much a breath of fresh air. But Rec has divulged to that. Park is completely that, and that's why a lot of people are leaving the Park. But Rec has divulged to that. Every game mode has divulged to that, and it's annoying, very annoying. So I would say for the general part, of course, on the gameplay aspects is 2K, because they have to do what they have to do to make sure these things aren't exploited. But then I also got to give the blame to the community, because the community has geared so much towards winning and having winning percentages and being the Michael Jordan, the Stephen Curry, the KD, et cetera, that they don't have a problem whatever exploits using it and using it to their advantage. And that's where the community comes into play. Everybody plays like this, and we know something could be shit or a shitty way to play, and we validate it as people because it gives us the results that we want, no matter how shitty it quote unquote is. Like left right is complete trash. It's just, it works, and it works effectively, and people can't stop it. And then we try to make excuses for it, and it should be no excuses for it. That left right is cheese and it's shit. And I'm going to be honest, it's one of the things. It's not the main thing. It's top one though that's making the game trash. On top of it, like I said, we have we have false interior defense now, and it's getting exploited more and more because bigs just go down and just chuck the ball up. And 90% of the time it's going in. Doesn't matter what your interior defense is, doesn't matter what your strength is, it's just gonna go up. It go right in the hoop. It's just that we were spoiled with block animations. That's why we thought it was some interior defense. Passing lanes, yes, people like to throw bad passes, but I don't see people jump from the middle of the court to damn near court the ball that's going to the corner. And I'm not saying patch intercept there, but it's a lot of times that has your character throw very bad passes that almost leads to turning the ball over. If a character is running, and it doesn't matter if they take a small little step, if they take a small little step to the right and you pass the ball to them at that moment, the game, you take that character over and make them run damn near to the corner. Like, it's very bad animations, very bad very bad animations in the game that take your character over, have you do dumb things at time on top of the exploits that people are using in the game. So I can put a large part of it has to go to the 2K itself, because they allow this shit in the game, and then the community is not that far behind because they exploit it. They swear that they are the best players. They swear that they're you're just trash if you can't stop it, knowing that it's a clear exploit. And it's just a problem, and it's been problems that plague the game. When you get rid of defense, make a game that's totally about offense, and it's ass. Now, fixes, because I'm not just going to say this without trying to give some fixes. I feel like they need to buff lateral quickness, because they put that in with other attributes. I hate that they did that, but they need to buff lateral quickness so you can move laterally as quick as the offensive player. I feel like, of course, I don't think it's possible. It might be, but I don't think it's possible for this iteration of the game. Of course, they're coming out with the 2K23. But 2K23, I feel like get rid of the foot planting system for defense. It's hurting defense. And if you're going to keep it in the game, you have to put it for offense. Offense doesn't have to worry about it, so you get to change direction as fast as possible, but defense has to worry about it. So get rid of that, or if you don't get rid of it, at least add it to every player, so everybody has to do it. I don't think any badges, well, besides like things like blinders, need to be patched or buffed or nerfed. Maybe, buff unpluckable a little bit, buff menace, buff clamps. Maybe that'll help out if you want like short fixes that may not destroy the game totally. You can do that. Also, I feel like because a lot of these players that are playing this way are full, and it's almost impossible to guard on a rec if you don't come in there with a full competent team. Me and my guys like to play a lot. Like, as you can see on the gameplay, it's me, my two bros, and two randoms. Usually, like us three, we go into the rec, play with the randoms and whatnot, and it's hell at times. But it's part of the game. But like, matchmaking needs to be better. That these people that are going into these programs and these rec games incomplete should get other teams that are incomplete, like, are randomized to a certain degree. You shouldn't be mixing teams up, especially if we get a guy with an overall 85 mixing us up against a team that's overall 95 or above, or all running together, all work together and going to play a certain way. You can't compete against that, because it's hard to form any type of correlation, any type of togetherness with complete randoms in the game. No, everybody wants to do their own thing, and if they're not like that, then they're not even talking. So if you let those guys who want to run into the rec with 5 people, let them play against other teams of 5 people that are doing the same thing, and let them go at it and deal with that all day. We shouldn't have to deal with that, People that's running into the game that aren't complete teams shouldn't have to deal with that. Is some level of matchmaking needs to be done, and that's also one of the quickest fixes to the game. Like I said, the game has to add defense, has to add more body and body collisions, have to add more ball pickups, things of that nature. It's so bad that if you do finally get somebody to pick up the ball, it's an animation cancel to stop that anyway. So like the defense has no way of winning. 2K has to bring back some level of defense, and we have to stop listening to every single quote unquote comp player, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to get their rep up the easiest way possible. They're trying to stack on wins the easiest way possible. They're trying to look like the best any easy way possible, and that's not the way to do it. To them it is, but for the casual or the normal or the regular player, the guy or girl who likes to just play basketball, nobody wants to play against that all day. Nobody wants to deal with that all day. And then you're just not as good if you can't stop it. And that's not the case. How about another fix? Stamina actually be a thing. Handles for days works way too well. And I'm not even a dribble head in a left-right cheeser. And I haven't even gotten the Gatorade Cebu like once this year. These dribblers can do this all game and not get a single Gatorade, not be tired, and it's still moving as fast as ever. That's my thoughts on the game. Started off very well. We're in a very bad spot right now, and 2K usually divulges into that every year. It gets worse and worse, and then it suddenly starts getting decent, better around like the next year mark, maybe March, February, sometime around there. It starts to get better. It kind of helps around Christmas time when the Christmas noobs come around and you got people that don't know how to play the game. So of course you just beat on their heads, but then eventually they don't watch 13 YouTube videos of the same channels telling the same old things, telling the same old cheesy play, telling the same old cheesy animations, and you know we gotta cut it out. But that's what I feel about the game. It's shit right now to me. A lot of times I don't want to play it because I just don't feel like dealing with the same shit all game, every game, running into screens, smelling people's chests. It's annoying. But I'm gonna get out of here. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Have a good one.